Hello, we're live on YouTube. We're doing it. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know where you're coming from. I've got the comments pulled up. This is all new to me. I'm using a new software for streaming, so this is brand new to me, but I want to obviously please the YouTube algorithms. Please get noisy in the chat to let YouTube know that people are tuning in to watch this. But this is going to be kind of just like an open discussion, hang out with me kind of live stream, and I'm planning on doing this regularly from now on. Hello, everyone. Great to see you in the chat. I believe there's a way. Yes, there is a way for me to feature comments. So if you say something interesting and I see it, I'm going to put it up on the screen. Let's see. Where are you guys coming from? We've got somebody asks already, can you replace Adobe for free? Good question. We could talk about that. Coming from New York, great. I'm doing great. How are you? Great to see you, Leo. How's it going? Cool. I'm glad you can hear me. Glad this is all working out well. Hello from India, France. All right. Sweden, India. This is great. Glad that you all made it. See, I am trying to figure out the best way to notify everybody of this happening. But all right, wow, there are too many comments for me to catch up with. Glad to see everyone tuning in. Now, I have no one helping me out with finding the comments, so I'm going to do my absolute best to answer questions as I see them. I already see some questions coming in. Vietnam, all right. Is AI really taking our jobs away? Great question. Japan, Morocco. Wow. Wow, lots and lots of people. I don't even know if I have a way to see how many people are tuning in other than opening up YouTube myself. Let me do that real quick so I can get a count. We've got about 101 people, 101 Dalmatians. What do you know? Armenia, India, Israel. Wow. So glad to see all of you here. Okay, let's get things going. I don't really have a plan for this. If you're just tuning in, this is going to be a live hangout with me. We're going to be able to talk about anything and everything you'd like. It doesn't have to be related to motion design, although I'm betting there are going to be questions about motion design. I'm planning to be on for about an hour. England, Brazil, all right. I'm trying to get more room. I'm using a tiny little teleprompter. The resolution's like less than 1280p, I'm pretty sure. So I'm trying to fit everything in here. Let's full screen the browser. That's a little bit better. Okay, so Poland, hello. Oh, all right, man. Thank you all for commenting. Kenya, Nepal, I see you all. I would love to get into open discussion. I'm going to let you guys really just guide the next about hour of discussion. And what I'm thinking of doing in the future, announcement for anybody who's interested, I'm going to learn Cavalry. It's finally time. They were acquired by Canva. It's been around, kind of lingering over me for years now. I've seen amazing stuff with Cavalry. I want to learn it, and I'm thinking it would be really fun if every now and then, maybe once a week, maybe bi-weekly, I'm going to start learning Cavalry live or sharing what I've been learning in Cavalry live, because I want to be able to teach tutorials on it. But in order to teach tutorials, I actually have to understand it and learn it myself. So I thought it'd be fun if I could kind of learn Cavalry live from the perspective of a motion designer. If anyone in the chat and any of the streams knows Cavalry, it would be excellent to have you there so I can ask you questions. But you'll be able to see my process of learning a new software at this state in my creative journey, which heavily relies on AI. Now, fortunately, Cavalry has great documentation, and I have an OpenClaw setup, which we can talk about, that is already set up. I have a dedicated channel to be able to talk about Cavalry, and it knows that it needs to go look at the documentation from Cavalry to give me the answers that I'm asking for. So that's something that I want to do with this live stream moving forward. But today, it's really just open discussion. So why don't we just get into it? There are so many comments already. It's going to take so long for me to scroll up. So I'm sorry for anyone who has already asked a question. I'm just going to say I'm going to look at what's there right now. And we have one. I'm going to feature this. Is it showing? Yes. Okay. So the comment is, what is the best workflow for Sketch? Man, I can't keep up with this on this tiny screen. Best workflow for Sketch. AEUX pretty much dead. SVGs aren't translating at 1:1. Lots of errors to correct with SVGs split out from Sketch. Well, we started with a great question that I cannot answer. I don't use Sketch. I never have. I've never opened it, so I really can't tell you. Um, yeah, AUX is pretty much dead. That was created by Adam long, long time ago, and it died. And now Overlord 2 supports Figma to After Effects. I don't know if Sketch is on the roadmap for that anymore. For anyone who doesn't know, I no longer work for Battle Axe. That ended just a little over a year ago. Still a huge fan of all of the Battle Axe tools and highly recommend them to anyone, any motion designer. I see another one. Let's see. What are the current skills that are needed or we need to focus to get into motion design in the current scenario who has just started? Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that you're referring to, is AI going to take our jobs? And I know I saw somebody else comment that, is AI going to replace us? Is it worth getting into motion design in the age of AI? And my opinion on the matter, which I think is kind of being adopted by more and more creative people, is that AI is just another tool. And there are all these companies that are coming out, like Higgsfield AI, which you probably saw my video covering or testing their Vibe Motion tool exactly the same way that they claim to have used it and it failing miserably. But a lot of these companies are basically saying we're destroying industries. You don't need motion designers. You don't need coders anymore. You don't need this or that. And I think the bubble of AI is going to burst, but not in the sense that it's all going to just end. I think people are going to realize that their specific area of expertise or their domain is what I'm hearing a lot of people call this, doesn't handle, AI doesn't handle it well. So I look at code and I'm like, this is amazing. I can code things without knowing how to code. I can build full apps and extensions for After Effects and scripts. And I don't know how any of it works. It feels like magic to me. I've been doing it for over a year now, and I've learned a lot about the process of getting an AI to produce reliable code and how to check for things. But I'm not a software developer. I can't check it myself. I can't actually confirm that it is working properly and following best practices. I'm just doing my best to kind of guide the AI toward creating code that actually is secure, doesn't crash the apps and things like that. With Higgsfield AI, I tried it and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, it doesn't even work. It's terrible motion. When it does give me motion, that was the first time that I really hit the domain that I'm an expert in, tried the AI and said, this is awful. And I know that there are people who have no experience with motion design or animation and try it, and this flashy little thing moves based on what they typed in, and that feels like magic to them. But I think the bubble is going to burst for AI where people start realizing, okay, well, I can only do so much with this. Yes, I can generate funny images of me that look like they're from the 80s and I've got a mullet. But I can't really do anything with it. It's not a very powerful creative tool. And especially with revisions, at least now, it's not there yet. So all of that to say, I think that the experts who see this AI in my own domain is terrible are the ones who should figure out, how can I use this AI to actually do something useful? How can I use it to allow my workflow to be quicker? And I have an example for you. For any of you who follow Corridor Crew on YouTube, Nico recently recreated, or not recreated, but built a color keying system that is 100% neural network AI trained specifically for color keying out a color key, a green screen. And it is, according to them, better than any color keying system that's ever been created. It's not 100% perfect, but and it takes a ton of hardware, a ton of GPU power to run, but it is able to do things like transparency through glass. It can key out the green. It's amazing. And the whole point that they made at the end of their video, which you should go watch, it's on YouTube, is that the color keying process is not the fun part of visual effects and compositing. The fun part is compositing, when you're actually putting the layers into a scene and making it feel like it's real and creating this story with these elements. The super hard, laborious part of color keying footage that maybe wasn't lit well and dealing with really difficult mattes, that's not fun. So if AI can cut out that part of the process so that you, the creative person, can get to the creative part quicker and have that fun part more quickly, you should be using AI to do that. It's just a more powerful kind of volatile tool or plugin. And that's kind of how I'm approaching AI. I've seen people go a lot towards the image generation route of creating assets or creating videos. I've gone down the path of vibe coding and building tools that help my After Effects workflow go quicker. And it's the same concept. I'm trying to build tools that allow me to get to the part I enjoy most quicker, which is setting keyframes, animating things. I'm not building tools really to replace animation. I'm building tools that help me rig up certain things to animate easier, or lay out my graphics in a certain dynamic kind of grid, or something like that. Renaming layers, reversing the layer order. I don't have to wait on the After Effects team to create these functions anymore. I can vibe them up with scripts. So that was a very long-winded answer to what are the current skills you need. So to be a little bit more just surface level with that, I think as a motion designer, After Effects is still king. I think Cavalry does some things that After Effects does much better and much more dynamically. But if you're looking for a place to start, still learn After Effects. If you want to learn 3D, learn Blender. I don't think I have any reason to tell you to learn Cinema 4D unless you have the money. If you do have the money, it is a much better experience for motion design, just based on the MoGraph tools that are in it. But Blender is free, and there are some really great features that are being added to make motion design easier to do in Blender. If you're interested in interactive design, you can learn Rive for free. Rive is super cool, especially if you have After Effects experience. But if you just need skills to get into this industry, I would focus on After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere, because they all come with the Creative Cloud. And I think being well versed in all four of those programs is going to get you pretty far. Now, then there's the whole AI thing. Get used to that. Experiment with AI. See what you can do with it. But hopefully that gives you some guidance there. Please talk about vibe motion. Yeah, killing us specifically. Well, I kind of just did. Vibe motion is not killing us. And honestly, the way that I'm thinking about it is, what if somebody did it well? What if it was created in a way that allowed, like I said, the motion designer to get to the part of the process that they enjoy the most? So maybe you don't want to have to sit and design a phone mock-up and a little chat bubble animation. What if you could just prompt that and get a first draft of the animation, the assets built, and a little bit of the animation really quickly, and then run with that? Nobody's done that yet. And I think nobody's done that to where the motion designer can then take it and continue. So like Higgsfield, it just gives you an MP4, and that's useless. I can't do anything with it. I want a separate layer stack and be able to edit that stuff. So I don't think vibe motion's coming for our jobs. I think AI is going to eliminate several jobs out there that can be done effectively by AI. I don't think motion design is one of them yet. Motion design and animation. Okay. Great question so far. Will After Effects be dead? No. After Effects is not going to be dethroned until somebody competes with it as a whole. Cavalry, like I said, what I'm seeing Cavalry doing better than After Effects is motion graphics, for lack of a better term. I'm thinking shape and text animation. Like, for example, how hard is it to put a text box around text in After Effects? There's a preset now. I understand that, but it is such a complex setup with expressions and stuff. In Cavalry, you just say, put a text box on this text, and it's on, and that's it. There are things that are all created procedurally with nodes for vector animation. That's just so much easier to do in Cavalry. And again, I've never done it myself. I've only looked at people's projects and a little bit of the interface to know that. But that's the only part of After Effects it competes with. It doesn't have compositing or keying. As far as I know, it has 2.5D, so it has that 3D stuff, but it doesn't have actual 3D geometry and 3D text and stuff like After Effects has now. So there aren't many effects as far as I'm aware. Somebody correct me in the chat, but if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are nearly as many of actual effects that can be applied in Cavalry. So I still think it's a Cavalry to After Effects workflow. Okay, let me scroll through some more comments. Curious about the camera you use for your YouTube videos. Okay, well, you're looking at it. This is the Sony ZV-1. It's a tiny compact 4K camera. I've got it connected to my computer through the Elgato 4K60 Pro. So it's just on and then feeding into my computer, and that is going through OBS, which is virtual camera to what you're seeing right now. And that allows me to put like a little bit of a color correction on the footage. And then I use an Elgato prompter, the smaller version, so that I can be looking right into the camera and read from a script if I need to. That's how I've got it set up. Did you say you set up Claude to help you learn Cavalry? I'd love to do the same. Yes. Actually, so, okay, OpenClaw. If you're not familiar, OpenClaw is a system that allows you to tap in any AI that has access, any API access into it and basically give it free reign of a computer. So if you're familiar with Claude Cowork, that's kind of how it works, except you're giving it access to a specific directory, and then it can do work. It can read files, it can rearrange stuff. OpenClaw is basically giving the complete access to the computer that you install it on, but you plug in whatever AI you want to use as what's driving it. The cool thing about it is that it can generate memory files, it can learn about you, it can store things, it can behave in specific ways, it can do scheduled tasks. And I went all in as soon as I realized how powerful it was. I first set it up on my old Razer Blade laptop that almost exploded because of how much I used it for GPU rendering. The battery died. I got it working on this and I was like, okay, yes, I'm going to use this. This is going to be amazing. So I went to Costco and I came back with a Mac Mini. So I have a dedicated Mac Mini to run my OpenClaw setup. I have an entire Discord server specifically for chatting with my OpenClaw agent, and I can do things like have it read my analytics on YouTube and tell me what's performing well. It can suggest titles and it can draft emails for me and all sorts of things. It's essentially my 24/7 personal assistant, and it's allowing me to do the work of probably 5 people instead of just 1, which is amazing. And I keep finding new uses for it. One of those uses is After Effects Extend Script Knowledge for vibe coding. And for Cavalry, I set up a channel specifically for Cavalry. Now, I am powering that with Claude, but you can do it with any AI. Now, if you're doing this outside of OpenClaw, let's say Claude Code specifically, what I would suggest is that you set up a folder for that Cavalry project and then install VS Code, which Visual Studio Code is a free coding app from Microsoft. Open up a terminal, install what you need to install for Claude, and you can go to Claude on the web to ask for installation instructions. But essentially, you're going to install Claude so that you can access it through the terminal in VS Code, and then just start talking to Claude about what you want to do. Say, I'm a motion designer. I'm not a coder. I want to learn Cavalry. I would like you to be a source of knowledge on Cavalry. Here's their official documentation link. Set up this project so that I can ask you any question with the reference point of an After Effects user. And when I ask you a question, I want you to reference the official documentation so that you're actually telling me the truth and not making things up. And then start using Claude skills. Tell it, I want you to set up a skill for the Cavalry documentation. That's going to save you on token usage. There's a whole art to this. And I'm actually interested in potentially creating some tutorials on YouTube about it. So if you want to know about vibe coding, my vibe coding setup, how I use AI, let me know in the chat right now. Again, get those comments going so YouTube knows people are watching. And then potentially even making a course or maybe a webinar, something along that where I can teach that. The issue with teaching a course on this stuff is that it changes so fast. New features come. My workflow is constantly changing, but I'd love to do some kind of a thing like that. So that's how I would encourage you to learn any software if you're going to use Claude Code. Find the official documentation, point the project Claude Code instance to it, and have it set up documentation so that when you open a new session, it knows how to do it. And that's through the claude.md file. Just tell it, create a claude.md file so that when I return in a new session, you know what to do. And it's really great at knowing that process. Okay, here is the real question. Where is Andrew Kramer? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know him personally. I've talked to him a couple times. but he's been radio silent. Honestly, good for him. I think he's done enough for our community. I think it's fine that he dropped the ball on whatever that tool was that he was creating and never released. He did so much for the After Effects industry, for the motion design community. Hopefully he got rich. He got to work on Star Wars, Star Trek, all kinds of stuff. I hope that he's just enjoying family time. If I were him, I would do the exact same thing. I would be radio silence, off the internet, spending time with, what, 6 kids, I think? I would just be a dad from then on. Like, I hope that happens to me one day. Can you replace Adobe for free? A lot of it can be replaced for free now. Now that Canva bought Affinity, you can have Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign replaced. Are there any video editors? I think DaVinci Resolve is free, or is pretty easy to get for free if you, I don't know, I think there's a free version. So you could replace Premiere with that. You cannot replace After Effects at this point. So that's the thing. If you need After Effects, you need Adobe. And I think that's about it. About Cavalry, what does your gut say about Canva's business model? Do you think they will make it free or else? Something else? I don't see how they can make it for free. There's too many people working on it. If they, I honestly have no idea what Canva is thinking, giving away Affinity and claiming that they're going to keep it free forever. That business model doesn't make sense to me. Where are they making money? Are they expecting people to just come to Canva and sign up there? I don't know. I feel like currently Canva is just trying to be like, look, we're so much better than Adobe. You don't need Adobe now. Free for life. But I just don't see how that's going to last. And I don't expect them to get rid of the subscription for Cavalry. Can AI replace graphic designers? Tell honestly. I think AI can replace graphic design. You can easily have AI create you a graphic design, but it's not going to be able to replace a graphic designer who has strong fundamental knowledge of design principles and color theory and typography hierarchy. Those are all things that AI can be trained on, but it's just guessing the next word. It is getting much better at guessing the next word and creating the thing. But if people don't have these foundational principle knowledge, fundamentals in any area, then the output is always going to be limited by the input of the user. And what you might think looks good might, make an actual professional designer cringe. I think the designers, whether it's motion design or graphic design or illustration or whatever, the ones that stick around are the ones who are going to be so technically skilled. And now I'm thinking of like painters, illustrators, people who can animate by hand, so technically skilled that they're still sought after by people who don't want AI generated content, or the generalists, the less skilled people who do a broader net of skills who are taking advantage of AI. If you don't use AI, I think you're going to be outworked by those who are using AI. Good questions. The next Cavalry course on School of Motion is going to be by Jake. I appreciate the compliment, but it is not. I actually know who's teaching the Cavalry course on School of Motion. I personally have told Joey, still really great friends with him, but I've told him I'm no longer teaching for other platforms. All of my courses will be on my own site. And he respected that and said he would be doing the same thing. All right. How's everybody doing? I need to take a sip of a drink. This is orange electrolyte water. Stay hydrated. All right. Wow, we've got a lot of comments. I'm way up the list, by the way. There's some good questions in here, though. Let me read some. Okay, here's a good one. All right, so you've been doing VFX and motion graphics for 10 years. Your body started sending warnings like back pain, dry eyes, and astigmatism. Have you had any health problems that affect your ability to work? Not really. I've gotten a standing desk, and my ClawBot, my open claw, reminds me twice a day to stand, and I try to stand for at least an hour at a time. I stand when I record. I'm standing now when I'm doing these recordings, and I found that to be good for my legs and my back. So I'd recommend standing as often as you can. I have had worsening vision over the years, but nothing to the point of it being, affecting my work. My eyes can dry out, so I every day I go downstairs to have lunch with my wife and coffee. I sit outside when I can. I try to get out of the office here, and I don't normally have all these lights and my window blocked, so I try to open the window to get fresh air in and stuff. But nothing has prevented me from working or slowed down my work, other than just getting older and tired quicker. Um, I'm I think getting up and exercising for 30 minutes to an hour in the morning is a huge, huge benefit. Even as just running on a treadmill. Oh, great question. Okay. Do you plan to continue the Panels of After Effects video series? Man, I really, really wanted to finish that series. I was going to do that every day in January and get the whole thing done. And I don't know if you tuned in, but those videos bombed like so poorly that I was afraid YouTube was going to nuke my channel and not tell anybody about any of my videos anymore, because less than 1,000 views per video. And that's just absolutely horrible. And I posted a tutorial in the middle of it, and that video didn't perform well. And that's when I realized I don't think I should be doing these daily videos anymore. So I might post one every so often. I'd really like to finish that series, but I cannot post them every day just because they didn't appeal to a broad enough audience. And as far as I understand it, if people don't watch videos, YouTube doesn't push it out, and that could hurt my channel. So that's why that series kind of stopped. OpenClaw launch League of Legends. What? Non-motion related question. Okay, how are you applying a LUT to the stream? There in OBS, you can apply filters to any video source, and there is a lookup table filter. So that's how I do it. Okay. Could you please share a free playlist to learn motion design from YouTube or others, your favorites? Yeah, it's called youtube.com/JakeInMotion. Lots of great videos there. Check that one out. Do the new features in After Effects replace Element 3D? Nope, because Element 3D is a completely different render engine. It's extremely fast. It has some really great quality settings. It has a ray traceable shadow setting. It has the biggest thing Element 3D has over After Effects Advanced 3D Renderer is the arrays. It really is a 3D particle array plugin, and that's where the strength is. So you can create arrays of objects, and if I remember right, it doesn't even take a render hit. The more copies you have, doesn't take longer to render. And you can do some really interesting, cool things with those arrays in terms of turbulence and animation and transitioning from A to B. And you can even deform the geometry. So Element 3D, still relevant, in my opinion. Okay. All right, let's read this one. A lot of artists are using AI as a tool to make their videos better, interesting, and more professional, but I have a feeling that it is killing our creativity. What do you think? I think there's a danger of that. It is much easier to just ask an AI to create something than actually be creative. I think as a motion designer, as a creative person, you have to think through, where should my time be spent? And an example of this is what was this for? It was for Animation Principles for Motion Designers. I needed to create a project, and the concept of the animation was these two floating hands, 3D rendered, cartoony style, playing rock, paper, scissors. And I had it in my head that I would go into Blender, I would learn how to rig up a hand. I figured I could model it pretty well. And then I could put it in all the different poses that I needed and render out individual assets. And then I remembered Gemini, Nano Banana. And I spent about 30 minutes, and I got, I think it was 8 different hand poses in the exact style that I had in my head, like that. I mean, 30 minutes of work, and I got it. There was still a lot of frustrating back and forth where it was rendering them in wrong positions or changing the style to be more realistic. But it only took me about 30 minutes, and then I had my assets that I could then go and do the thing I was setting out to do, which was teach a lesson about anticipation and follow through, I think was the lesson. So I think that is a perfect example of I don't have to spend all of this time creating assets when that's not the point of what I'm trying to do. I'm not all that for creating all of your assets with image generation, but I think it's a really great reference tool and design exploration tool. In the same way that I would use Dribbble or Pinterest to just browse things for inspiration, what I'll do now is find a few things that I like on Dribbble or Pinterest or Behance, bring it into ChatGPT or Gemini and say, I like these styles. I'm trying to make this kind of a thing for this project. Can you give me some asset exploration and pick from this kind of mood board of styles that I gave you? And then it'll generate some things. And then I'll look at it and I say, oh, I kind of like this. I really like the colors you went with on this one. Generate some more based on that feedback. And then it gives me like a grid of 6 more. And then there's something that's completely different from everything else I've seen. And maybe the illustration of a character's face is using lines in an interesting way. And I like that. And this is a way that I'm iterating and exploring using AI. And then what I'll do is take that into Illustrator and then create my character from that reference. I think that is a way to creatively use AI where, yes, you are not the one, or no, you are not the one being 100% creative with all of it, but you're still thinking critically about what you're seeing, exploring more ideas and asking it to give you more options, and then allowing that to kind of help you get to something that you're happy with and then ultimately create yourself. But yeah, I mean, there is absolutely a danger of allowing it to kind of take over the creativity. You're halfway into my After Effects series playlist. Loving every video, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. I see every single comment, by the way, on my phone. My Effects of After Effects series, every day, one of those videos at least has a comment. And I look at all of them. I try to heart every single one of them. All right. You are so confused. Should I learn 3D Blender or should I double down in After Effects? This is their, like, is there, like, is there any added advantage of learning 3D while AI is kind of eating 3D? Okay, well, I mean, I've kind of already said this about the whole AI thing. Is it taking our jobs? Learn how to use AI to create the stuff is my kind of blanket statement. But as far as After Effects versus Blender, 2D versus 3D, or 2.5D, and the 3D you have in After Effects versus dedicated 3D, follow your passion, follow your interests. If 3D excites you, learn it. If you get into it and you're like, you know what, I don't enjoy this, go back to After Effects. There's going to be a need for both cases. I still tend to prefer to work in After Effects, but I love having the ability to jump into Blender when I know I need to. So that would be my advice there. Okay. Hey, Jake, is motion design teaching still feasible in 2026? You mean as an educator? Well, yeah, I mean, that's a concern I've had. Like, how long until people don't want to hear from me? Or they're just going to learn it on their own through ChatGPT like I do? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think people enjoy still learning from humans. I've watched some videos that were clearly AI avatar versions of the person, that they've cloned their voice and their likeness, and it looks like this picture-in-picture view, and they're just like dead, like no life, no soul. You can see through the AI. It'll get better, but I think people still like connecting with actual humans. So I don't think at this point my job is at stake, and I think that you can teach still. I think it's hard to get started. I worked pretty hard on Skillshare to build an audience there of about 60,000 before I started my YouTube channel. So that gave me a really big boost at the start of my YouTube channel. I know it's a grind and it's hard to get noticed and it's hard to get views when you're starting. But if it's something you want to do, you can do it. There, don't let other outside factors discourage you. Just know it's going to be a grind. You got to stick with it. You got to be in it for the long haul. Is there somebody spamming? P, I see you seeing somebody's banning, or I mean, not banning, spamming. You know what? There's got to be yes. Hang on one second. Oh, I'm going to have to learn about this, but I'm pretty sure that I can set you to be a moderator for me. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Probably have to do it through YouTube directly, but yeah, please don't spam the comments. And thank you, PD, for calling that user out. PD, you have a question though. Wait, let me see if I'm sorry, everyone. There are so many comments. There's no way that I can keep up with all of them, but I see, PD, you have a question. So let me just scroll to yours. Question. How do you feel about the environmental and social impacts of AI? Do you worry that your support of the industry contributes to any negative outcomes? Well, not until now. No, I'm kidding. This was a really big thing with NFTs as well. There was this huge uproar about how much energy usage there was on the blockchain and all of that stuff. And honestly, I try to stay out of political discussion. I don't really like talking about my personal beliefs or opinions on these matters, because what I'm really here for is to educate people on motion design. That's what I want to stay focused on. So I will say I am all for finding an environmental and economical way of using AI. I hope it gets easier and easier to manage and run and not use as much energy and not have an environmental impact. That would be my obviously ideal scenario, is that it is something that everyone can use without an environmental impact. Social impacts too, that's a whole other thing. I have young kids, so I'm trying to figure out how am I going to deal with my kids growing up in a very, very different time than when I did, with technology and just social cues and things like that. I don't know. I don't know how I can have much of an impact on it. And yes, I am using this stuff daily, so I'm probably contributing to the problem. But sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. I find how to add you, PD, as a moderator. Yep, you can now put people in timeout, and yes, you volunteered yourself. You are now the moderator of the chat if you see anything wrong. I hope that I'm not dodging your question, but the reality is, one, I want to keep this a motion design focused channel and place to discuss things. Maybe we could talk about that stuff a little bit more in Discord. If anybody in the chat is not on my Discord server, come join it. Did I put it in the description of the video? No, I did not. I can edit that right now, though. It's a free open server, so if you want to come in, I'm there all the time. I can't always respond, but there's some really great people like PD in the Discord who are very willing to help when they can, and I appreciate you for doing that. So great question, and hopefully you don't think less of me for dodging it a little bit. Okay, Discord. Jake in motion for being my first real live stream where this is kind of open-ended and ask me anything. First time using StreamYard to do this. I feel like things are going pretty well. I don't know about you. Leave a like down below. Click that thumbs up if this is going well. All of that helps the channel. It's cliche to say this stuff, but it's true. YouTube rewards the live streamers and the videos that get the likes and the comments. And so please go do that right now. Click that like button. How do you find the motivation to keep doing all of this? Courses, YouTube videos, and staying so positive all the time? I'm honestly having a hard time staying positive these days. Hey, well, cheer up, buddy. I'm generally an optimistic person. Yes. I am very bubbly on camera. I feel like I have high energy. But if anybody saw the Higgsfield video, you saw that I was getting really frustrated. And that was a little bit more of my kind of just actual raw emotions coming through, especially if you watched the cut down reel that I posted afterwards on Instagram and LinkedIn and all of those places, Reddit. So I try my best to be a positive face on YouTube. I want you to enjoy watching me, and I want you to see my excitement because it's genuine. I am genuinely showing you things that I'm excited about. I'm not going to make videos I don't want to make. So I want to transfer that positivity to the viewer. But the way that I find motivation to keep going is by discovering new things. When I discovered that you can create scripts and using After Effects scripts using AI, that was exciting and new, and it energized me, and I really wanted to get results in After Effects that I couldn't before. That got me really motivated. When I started learning Blender, I got excited about Blender. When I found Rive and I got into that, I got really excited. So it's when I get excited about something, when something is new and interesting to me, that's what motivates me to keep going with it. And for me, I'm in a unique scenario where when I learn something new, especially in the motion design world, I can translate that into YouTube content or a course or a live stream or whatever it is. And when OpenClaw came out, that has been my current obsession. The amount of things that I've been able to build with it that have literally saved me hundreds of dollars for replacing subscription services. I'm able to just build my own versions of them, has been fantastic. And it is so exciting. So find something that does excite you, and it doesn't have to be motion design. It could be espresso. I love espresso. My favorite part of every day is making espresso after lunch and having it with my wife. I love the process, grinding, tamping, pulling the shots, making a latte or a cortado or an Americano. Like I just love the process. It excites me. It brings me joy. I love golfing. I absolutely love golfing. If you couldn't tell, can you see that? I think you can see that. It says sun's out, clubs out. I love golfing. Find things that are exciting to you. Oh, it was blocked by that. Oh, you can kind of see it. Anyway, find things that bring you joy and dedicate yourself to serving other people in some way, shape, or form. I, serve at my church, at my kids' school. Give and you will receive. That's kind of something that I live by. So find a way to give, and I think that will fulfill you and keep you more positive. Could you dive more into Claude in combination with After Effects? By the way, I've got the comments that I'm scrolling through up here, and I'm just going to quickly look down here to see kind of reactions. Yeah. This is fun. This is really fun. I'm really glad that I did this. My marketing strategist, Kyle, if you're here, Kyle, good to see you. But he encouraged me to do this on YouTube, and I love this. I really, really am enjoying this. I'm going to be doing this regularly. So thank you so much for being here. We've got 231 people. That's nuts. For my first live stream, that's crazy. Okay. Could you dive more into Claude in combination with After Effects? Okay. At this point, it's all scripting for me. Scripting and extensions. Actually, okay. I'm trying to decide what I want to do here, what I want to show. By the way, I saw in the chat, Amrir, you've got a super. You gave me a super. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Can I feature that somehow? I don't know. I'm sorry. If I see you in the chat, I will in StreamYard, I'll feature you. Oh my goodness, there are so many comments. I'm not going to be able to keep up with all these. But there it is. There it is. I'm going to feature you. And there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so the Claude thing. I'm currently using it for building tools that help me work faster. So you probably know of the 12 Days of Scriptsmith series that I released at the end of the year. Again, you can thank my marketing strategist, Kyle, for that. But I released 12 scripts, 12 days in a row. About 10 of them were built in the span of a couple of days using Claude Code. So I have an extensive knowledge base that I've been building for about a year now that Claude Code has access to. I have a specific project set up for it that gives Claude all of the knowledge that it could ever need about After Effects and about writing extend script for After Effects scripts. And I can basically ask it for anything, and it knows where to go to find the information it needs to create that type of script. It knows how to build a dockable UI panel in the way that I like to. It knows how to arrange the code so that it feels more like a web page with styling versus the actual functionality. And I've been building that for about a year now. And I've been trying to figure out how I want to distribute that knowledge. And that will come in time. There will be more news about how that gets distributed further down the road. Did we just see Nick's back for the first time? No, you saw Jake's back for the first time. I get so many people who type my name as Jack. So if you ever type out Jack, I know what you mean, but I always read it as Jack. And it always irks me. PD is a mod now. If you call me Jack, he's going to ban you. Okay, PD? You have that authority. It's funny. I like it. The best one I've ever received is Jack, Jek. The subject line of an email just said, "Hi, Jack." And that's my favorite ever. How should one be seen in this cluttered field where an influencer themselves creating... Sorry, I'm getting lost in the comment. How should one be seen in this cluttered field where an influencer themselves creating edits and animation on their phone? You mean like, how are you going to find value? How are you going to be seen by others when influencers are making their own crazy edits and animation on their phone? Well, I'll tell you what I've observed. Those influencers are not the ones making the graphics. If they're big enough, they're going to have teams. They're hiring out motion designers, editors. In general, in their mind, it's all one thing. So they're hiring an editor to do everything. So I think there's still going to need to be people doing that. You're not going to get lost. Finding the work, that is difficult, but I think building a portfolio, posting your own content regularly, doing spec animation and projects, that's a great way to start building a portfolio that you can then showcase and then pitch to the types of work that you want to do, whether it's working for an influencer or an agency or any kind of freelance YouTuber. I don't know, but I think you need to build your own portfolio to do that. I just wanted to say hi. Good to see you, Nikki. Okay, what else have we got in the chat? Can you do an overview of your animation principles course? I'm considering to purchase first online animation course and I'm eyeing your course. I'm currently doing UI animations for a tech startup. Okay, thank you. So there's a great overview on the course page, by the way. Just go there. You can see all of the projects that you'll create and what I focus on in each one of them. But essentially, let me grab the book. I have taken what is written in this book, The Illusion of Life, written by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, two of the OG Disney animators that created the 12 Principles of Animation and published it in this book. This is like the knowledge, the Bible of that kind of concept of good animation. And then there's the Animator Survival Kit, which, if you don't know about, this is the one to get. If you're going to choose between these two books, this is the one I encourage you to get. This is putting the 12 Principles of Animation into practice. They're both great, though. That one is amazing. It's heavy. It's hardcover. But what this does, or what I did with this for my course, is I took the 12 Principles of Animation that are written from the perspective of kind of traditional animators, drawing frame by frame. I condensed a few of them. I dropped a few of them. I put a couple of them together, and I came up with my 8 principles of motion design. And that's what I teach through Animation Principles for Motion Designers. They're the principles that I think apply directly to how we work as motion designers with keyframes and the graph editor and things. And that's the course that is going to teach you these fundamental animation principles that can be applied to any animation, not just After Effects, not just digital, but even traditional hand-drawn animation. It's just taught from a perspective of an After Effects user, but it'll apply to Rive, it'll apply to Blender, it'll apply to Premiere. There's keyframes in Graph Editor and Premiere. So that's kind of what that's for. I don't specifically teach UI animation in that course, but I teach you how to approach any animation with the principles of how to actually do anything. So hopefully that gives you a good overview. And there's a 10% discount in the Higgsfield video if you're interested. Hey, I am new in editing. Can you please suggest me like a roadmap? Yep. We did this once already in the stream. JakeInMotion.com. Great place. Great roadmap there. I know After Effects, but whenever I make something, it looks kind of boring. How do I bring the feel to it? Or like, how do I bring creativity into it? Oh my goodness. I'm getting more supers. I see you. Just a second. Just a second. Let me answer this question, then I'll catch up. Um, how do I make it feel great? Okay, so that's the classic question. I started learning the software and I couldn't figure out how am I going to ever create the way that I see other artists creating things. Like I know exactly what you're feeling. Um, learning animation principles is what really took me to the next level. So take that for what it's worth. But I think imitating what you see, focus on one project that you really like by another artist. Take one shot from it and see if you can figure out how to imitate what they did, whether it's texture or distortion of the motion. I don't know what it is, but something about it, you can tell subconsciously there's something about their work that is better than what I'm creating. And figure that out. It might be as simple as I'm using motion blur and they're not. They're using smears. That's a huge thing. There are little subtle things that you have to develop a taste in the craft to be able to really understand it and start applying it to your own work. All right. Sorry, everyone. I'm going to scroll way down because I know that I saw this. Editing snapped. Thank you so much. Please reply to my comment. Please post your comment again. And I've got the live chat open, so I'll see it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. Well, actually, I guess I could search. Editing snapped. Hey, Jake, love your content and just guide me if I want to make a short form content related to After Effects. What should I make? Please reply. If I want to make short form content related to After Effects, do you mean short form content as in here's a quick tip on how to do something in After Effects? Because I've seen a lot of people on Instagram doing that kind of content, and it's really great. So I don't do short form content. I'm not good at it. I'm very much a long-winded, tell you everything kind of instructor. So if you're going to make short form content, what I would suggest you do is find the other people who are doing it and doing it well, the people that you're connecting with, see what it is about their format that you really connect with, whether it's their editing style, how they hook you at the beginning. Study that, write down what you're noticing, and then try and make content like that. Let me know if that's not what you meant. You mean something unique you could suggest. Well, that's the trick, isn't it? Figuring out what the unique thing is. Yeah, I mean, I can't really, I don't have a bank of ideas that I can just give you. I think finding anything that you find interesting, just like my content, when I'm excited about something, that's what's going to shine through in your content. If you have a cool thing that you think is fun and interesting and going to, captivate your audience and give them the same kind of excitement that you have, that's what you should be focused on. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Thank you so much for the super. I think that's what it's called, super. Hey, Jake, big fan of your work. Workflow for vibe coding. Wait. Hey, Jake, big fan of your work. Curious if you're going to NAB this year. If you're not, what would you be most excited for if you went? I'm not. I went to NAB once, and the most exciting part of it for me were the after parties. And I don't even really drink. I'm not talking like that. I just mean I got to socialize with people that I only ever interacted with online. I went to a karaoke bar with Haley Aikens from Motion Hatch. We were like conference buddies that entire time. And we had such a blast just being friends and running around Las Vegas, seeing the sights. I had way more fun in the evenings when we went to places like Topgolf or a pinball museum. Grayscale Gorilla sponsored that. That was where it was fun. I got to connect with people and actually interact in person. So that's what I would be most excited for. Yes, the Adobe booth is there. You can see people speak. Andrew Kramer, Peter McKinnon was there, stuff like that. That's fun. But the conference itself is exhausting. You're on your feet all day long. It is a massive, massive venue that you could walk and walk and walk and not see half of it. But yeah, go to the after parties, definitely. And thank you for the super. All right, next one up. Can you explain your workflow for vibe coding to tackle native After Effects workflow problems? I'm vibe coding, but it's so frustrating. I've been there. I already explained this a little bit. I think I gave a pretty good overview of my setup, but I've been building for over a year a system that essentially knows in After Effects inside and out. And like I'm talking about, it can know the exact command for every single effect property. It knows how to change preferences in After Effects. It knows how to detect changes in the UI. I've built this massive knowledge base over time and I expand it. And the 12 Days of Scriptsmith series, every time that I overcame an issue, I have a command set up in Claude, a slash command called capture learnings, where it essentially looks back and sees, okay, we had this problem, we identified the issue, we fixed it. Now what can we learn from this? And it puts it into the knowledge base and it knows how to do it automatically. It's gotten so much better. That's what I would encourage you to start doing. Doing a web chat is not the right way to vibe code for After Effects because the context window gets closed. It's super, super hard to have a web chat really remember. Even if you're using like ChatGPT's projects with the knowledge files or Claude on the web with its projects, it's so much better in Claude Code and Opus. Honestly, I jumped from the free tier to the $20 a month tier within about 30 minutes of my first Claude use. And then I jumped from the $20 tier to $100 tier per month within a couple weeks. And I'm now on the $200 a month tier. I don't pay anything near that per month for any other subscription, any other service. I don't even have a car payment, but $200 a month. And the reason I'm willing to spend that is because of how much time it is saving me and how many things I'm able to build with it in so many facets of my life, not just After Effects, that it is 100% worth that cost to me. Thank you for the super thanks, the super comment. I see that. I think we have another one. Yes. I can't believe we've been talking for almost an hour here. I'm so sorry to everyone in the chat. I did not think that there would be 223 people leaving so many amazing questions. Tips on integrating new tools like Rive or Cavalry to industry standard After Effects and Photoshop workflows. I work in advertising and they expect After Effects only, but we got to move. Great question. So Cavalry, I would just pitch it to them as I can do what you need me to do so much faster and more effectively and procedurally in Cavalry. So get me a license there and I'll be more productive for you. For Rive, I would say, look, do you happen to remember when Flash was a thing and how big interactive web stuff was? That's back. Rive is Flash 2.0. Pitch it to them like that. Say that we could work in a Rive project, hand it to a developer who can easily plug it into a website, an app, a video game, whatever it is, and we can take these jobs that we're working on as an agency and pitch it to our clients as an interactive component. And there's virtually no friction for us once you understand Rive. So I think that's the future. I think Rive is the interactive forefront. So get on that. It is such an incredible real-time renderer, what they're doing to push it out and expand it, and with the extra features that they've been adding, they just keep coming. And it's still in beta. How nuts is that? Great question. All right. Hopefully I didn't miss any super chat. I think that's all it's called. Super chats. Yeah. Cool. Thank you all for doing that. That is such a pleasant surprise. I didn't even really know about that feature. And you're giving me money. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that so much. And even for all of you who are just in the chat, just even if you're not commenting, thank you so much for being here and for watching and supporting me. This is so much fun for me. Another one. Let's feature that. You and Ben Marriott have been a big part of my After Effects journey. Thank you, Jack. Jack, kind of a random question, but who's your favorite musician? Ooh, oh, that's a good one. Okay. Since you said specifically musician, Oh, this is going to be so hard. I'm not going to tell you my favorite band. I'm going to tell you my favorite musician. Oh, this is really, really hard. Okay, my current favorite musician is Ben Rector. Love Ben Rector. Love his lyrics. Love his musical style. Ben Rector. Another one of my absolute favorite musicians right now, just by the sheer amount of talent he has, is Jacob Collier. Jacob Collier. I love that question. Am I allowed to post an open motion design role here? I mean, yeah. Doesn't bother me. I doubt that you're going to get much takers, but hey, feel free. Let's see. Question. Okay, hang on. Let me scroll up here so I can actually pull it up. And Petey, by the way, I made you a moderator. Don't feel like you have to stay the whole stream and watch this. I just gave you that power because I trust you. Question. How do you manage multiple different frame rate videos in one sequence, like 24 and 30? I interpret the footage, but after export, the video is choppy. That's tricky. That is just a technical, tricky issue. You can't really play 24 frames per second at 30, and you definitely can't play 30 at 24. I mean, you can, but it will look choppy because that is such a different ratio. That's an issue. So there are ways to kind of interpolate between frames, but it's never going to be perfect. You can't play 30 frames per second at 24 without, if you're really paying attention, some choppiness. I know Video Copilot had a preset for doing that, that interpolated between frames. So there are techniques. Anyone in the chat, if you know, drop some techniques in there. Who have we got here? Sturzalax 5112 Ron RON currency. I'm not sure what that is, but thank you so much. I love that. Thank you so much. I just realized that I can heart these super thanks. So I'm going to go back and do that for everybody who's done it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep. Okay. Let's scroll back down. I'll catch. Oops, wrong scroll. Oh my goodness. Question. You had a question too after your super. Let's see what it is. How do you manage multiple different... Oh, that was your question. I've answered the question already. How long are we safe from AI? Give it 6 to 12 hours. After learning the technical side of After Effects, how can designers improve their motion sense, storytelling, creativity, and motion graphics? Ooh, great question. I don't have a great answer for that because I've never really studied storytelling, which is crazy and probably a big confession here. But I've always, in all of the work that I've done professionally, freelance-wise, I've been given a script. I've just been the motion designer who makes the stuff appear and move and tell the story that's already been written. So I would encourage you to go research storytelling in general. I watched an interview with Pete Docter from Pixar the other night, and he was talking about storytelling. And somebody asked him about how is AI going to affect the animation industry. And he said, you know, it all still comes down to storytelling. And that is a human thing that AI can imitate, but it's never going to replace. So that applies to any form of creativity. I think it all comes down to the story you're trying to tell and how well you're telling it, how effective you're being with it. So I would go start researching. Ask AI, where can I learn more about telling stories and visual stories and motion design, and allow it to help guide you. There are so many comments. Thank you all for being here. I'm trying to catch up, and I'm seeing the supers come in, so I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna catch up on these. A super sticker for $1.99. Thank you so much. If you had a question, I will try to answer it, but I don't see it in the chat. Here's another one. Jake, thank you for all you do. I vibe coded an amazing plugin for myself, like a controller to animate. Any advice on how to take it forward? I don't have enough detail to advise you on that one. I don't know if you're talking about like a joystick and sliders kind of thing. I'm not sure what you mean there. Any advice on how to take it forward? If you mean how can you take it to an audience, the subreddits on After Effects, the After Effects subreddits, the motion design subreddits, they're pretty brutal in the comments, and I think people are starting to get tired of seeing all of these vibe coders producing scripts. But that's probably where I would go. I'd post it to Reddit and I'd post it to Instagram. The only way you're going to get noticed, especially if you don't have a following, is by sharing it. So I would take it places and show it to people. And if people like it, they're going to engage with it. If they don't like it, if they see that it's not great or it's buggy or something, they're going to be very brutal on Reddit. Today I saw somebody released a tool called Texture Looper, which if you know anything about me, I have a tool called Texture Looper. So I actually called him out. Maybe a little bit of edgy Jake coming out, but I called him out. I said, I understand that the era of $10 After Effects scripts is over. Anyone can create After Effects scripts now if you try. So I'm not surprised or offended that somebody else made a tool that does basically what my tool does. I just had a problem with them naming it the same thing. Wow, there some. Hang on a second. Yeah, I'm seeing that comments are being deleted. Don't spam, Pete. Thank you for enforcing that. I will ban if this. I don't see your comments because they were deleted, but I will ban you if the comments get out of hand. Please stay respectful in the chat. Be a good human. All right. What else? Do you think node-based compositing will eventually replace layer-based systems like After Effects? No. I think that's the one thing After Effects has on everything else. It's a layer-based compositor. Like Photoshop, like Illustrator, it fits in the Adobe ecosystem. I think that is why it is such a huge leap for After Effects users to any node-based workflow, because they're so locked in to layer-based systems. I don't think nodes are coming to After Effects, but I know that Cavalry uses nodes, Blender uses nodes, Cinema 4D uses nodes. I think Nuke uses nodes. So I don't think it's going to replace After Effects. I actually really enjoy a node-based workflow, but I also enjoy the layer-based workflow in After Effects. So I don't think it's going to replace it. Jake, can you recommend movies or series that use a lot of motion design, or websites that use motion design for communicating ideas? No, nothing immediately comes to mind. I'm sorry. Web movies, especially. I can't. There are very few movies that I think, wow, that had good motion design. It doesn't happen all that often. Way more, it's like UI, UX stuff, like what Jace Hansen does, and Darby Facinto, in movies like Iron Man and Big Hero 6 and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. But motion design, in the sense the way that we work with it with social media posts and title sequences and things like that, nothing's really coming to mind. Dropbox has a really great brand kit website that was built with Rive. You could definitely go check that out to see some good examples. I'm seeing more and more comments. Another super. Thank you. Hey, the chop shop. How's it going? Thank you so much. I'll let that comment speak for itself, but I really appreciate the support, and I'm so glad to see you here. Oh, great comment, Petey. Let me pull that up. It has been so long since I watched this movie. I own it, but The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy does have some great, and I specifically remember it. Wasn't that even done by MK12? If I remember right? Let me search. MK12. Isn't that the studio? Wait, MK. Oh my goodness. What's it called? Isn't that? Yeah, mk12.com. One of the oldest motion design studios. They did Stranger Than Fiction. But didn't they do that movie? Let me see. MK12 Hitchhiker's Guide. I love that book, by the way. Oh, it might not have been. It might not have been MK12. I can't remember. I thought for some reason I thought they were the ones who did it. Nope. It looks like it was somebody else trying to open up the source of the video. I can't stand how hard it is to get a video to open in the web. And of course, there are no credits on this video. But yes, I'm glad you brought that up because that has some amazing motion design in it. That's a great reference. Cool. I'm seeing a lot of comments that are suggesting movies. All right, I missed somebody's super chat. Let me see. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. Wait, you said its username. I'm just going to search for it. Please answer Jorge. Okay, let me search for that. I sent you a question. Okay, I think I found it. Jake, what do you think are the real uses of Rive and its future in the industry? And do you really think it is worth investing time in learning this tool? Okay, yes, I found your comment. Yes, I think it is worth learning that tool. What I see as the future of Rive is being the interactive component for the web. But what's so amazing about Rive is that the same file that you can use on the web can be used in an app or in a video game, and code can interact with it. You, as the motion designer, can design it. You can design the interactions. So you're not handing it to a web developer saying, here's a mock-up of how the animation should look. You're designing the animation and the interactions. You can use it on your website, just as having interactive graphics or just really, really performant animations. So I see those as reasons to be using Rive. And sorry, I could have put this up on the screen. Actually, I'm not sure how to do that up here. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. Sorry, everybody. I can't pull it up, but I think Rive is occupying the interactive animation space, and it's going to be the future of interaction. So that's what I'm seeing or predicting Rive to be. Do I really think it's worth investing the time to learning the tool? 100%. And the reason why is because if you know After Effects, you already know probably 75% of how to use Rive. You will get into it, and once you understand the layout of the app and where the tools are, then you can focus on learning the new concepts of the state machine, working in a state-based workflow, and creating interactions. But it's so much fun. Once you start to click with these ideas, it is so much fun to work in interactive design and then actually instantly be able to test it out and interact with it. Hopefully that answers your question. Finn Arts has a question, and he's please answer. He's saying Finn Arts. Let me find your comment. How did I put that comment up there? Can you give advice on how to get projects and where to get them? Because currently make fun of motion design due to AI. It's very hard to be in the field now. Build yourself a portfolio. I kind of touched on that already. But that is what I would suggest, is start building a portfolio and sharing it. When people recognize your talent, that's when you're going to start finding work, I think. Question, for daily practice, what should I use? Please suggest some YouTube channels or something else, please. I have watched all your videos. Well, if you've watched all my videos, then you're good. There's nothing else to do. Ben Marriott, Motion by Nick, Evan Abrams, Kyle Hamrick, Ukra Media, School of Motion, Manuel Does Motion, Motion by Scott, Audrey Havey. There are so many channels. You don't have to, Sonduck Film, you don't have to ask me. Ask ChatGPT. Say, what are some of the best channels to learn from? It's not hard. Just go search. You will find amazing channels without much effort at all. You don't even have to go to Google. Just type in, I want to learn After Effects on YouTube's search. Let me catch up back in the actual StreamYard chat so I can actually highlight some of these. How many people? We've got 252 people. No, that's subscribers. 206 people watching. Yeah. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here soon. I've got stuff to do. I haven't even got to. I didn't know how this was gonna go. I had no idea there were gonna be this many great comments. Thank you for being here. I had a few things that I was planning on showing, and I haven't, obviously. But we can talk about that in the next stream, I guess. But I do have a very exciting tool that I'm going to be releasing probably next week. And I'd like to give you just a short preview with zero context. I wasn't planning to do this, but I'm going to do it real quick. Let me just share my screen. How do I switch? Sorry, this is the part where it's like, I don't exactly know what I'm doing yet with this platform. Exit full screen? Yes. Okay. Let me rearrange so I can actually do this. Okay, and please switch. There. Okay. Man, this wide layout's hard now. Okay, this is After Effects. You know that. This is going to be really quick. I'm not going to give you any context. I'm not going to answer any of your questions. This should be coming next week. Are you ready? And that's all you get to see. There, I'm back. No context. Be on the lookout for it. It should be coming next week. There are other things I wanted to talk about too, but I just don't have time. I'm sorry, everyone. I am going to have to end this here pretty quick. Let me just catch up on the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything important that I'd like to cover real quick. But I'm seeing a lot of deleted comments by the same person. We might have to have some enforcement moving forward, but let me just see. What was your reaction to that? Yep, cool. Right. Okay. That's yeah, cool. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know how to clear the comments that I have pinned, so there. I'm gonna end it there though. I think this was wildly successful. I really appreciate everyone for being here. I appreciate all the love in the comments. I'm seeing it. I really am looking forward to doing this more often. I tried this for the first time in my Discord server last week, and it went well. There were 18 of us. So if you'd like to do this in a more intimate setting, I think that's where Discord is going to be great. And you'll be able to talk to me on microphone or even come on camera if you're interested. So head to the Jake in Motion Discord server. There should be a link down in the description. But at the end of the day, I'm just so happy to be connecting with so many people. And I really appreciate you all being here. This has been the highlight of my week. I absolutely love this. I'm glad that I have done this. I decided to go through with doing this. That comment's still there. I don't know. I'll learn how to use StreamYard better here moving forward. But thank you so much for being here. We'll do it again. And we can do all kinds of stuff. Maybe next time we'll be talking about Cavalry and I'll actually be working in Cavalry. I don't know. But thank you all so much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Why did it switch? Oh, my goodness.